When people saw Ethan delivering food on an old motorcycle, they laughed at him. What nobody knew was this: his father was one of the richest billionaires in the country. And this was all part of a brutal test. Ethan grew up surrounded by luxury, private schools, luxury cars, massive mansions. Anything he wanted, he got. But his father, Victor Hale, believed something dangerous was happening. Ethan was becoming weak, lazy, entitled. Victor had built his billion-dollar empire from absolute poverty. At 14, he worked in factories. At 17, he slept on construction sites. At 21, he started his first company with borrowed money. He knew pain, but his son didn't. One night during dinner, Victor looked directly at Ethan and said, "If I disappeared tomorrow, you would lose everything within a year." Ethan laughed. "I know business, Dad." Victor stayed silent. Then he slid a small envelope across the table. Inside was a motorcycle key and a delivery company uniform. Ethan frowned. "What is this?" Victor leaned forward. "For the next 6 months, you will work as a delivery driver. No bodyguards, no family money, no special treatment." Ethan thought it was a joke. It wasn't. The next morning, his bank cards stopped working. His luxury car was gone. His phone service was disconnected. For the first time in his life, he was completely alone. On his first delivery day, the summer heat felt unbearable. His cheap helmet smelled terrible. His motorcycle kept making strange noises, and customers treated him horribly. Some ignored him. Some shouted at him for arriving late. One man threw food back at him because the fries were cold. That night, Ethan sat alone in a tiny apartment eating instant noodles. He wanted to quit immediately. But every time he called his father, there was no answer. Weeks passed, then months. Slowly, Ethan began seeing life differently. He met exhausted workers doing 3 jobs just to survive. Single mothers working night shifts. Students studying while delivering food. People fighting silent battles every single day. And for the first time in his life, Ethan understood struggle. One rainy night, Ethan received a delivery order near an old apartment building. When he arrived, he saw a little girl standing outside barefoot. She looked hungry. Ethan handed over the food. But the girl whispered quietly, "Thank you. We haven't eaten since yesterday." Ethan froze. Inside the apartment, he saw her sick mother lying on a couch. The room was nearly empty. Something inside him changed that night. He used his own small savings to buy groceries for them, not for social media, not for attention, because he genuinely cared, and strangely, helping others made him happier than luxury ever did. What Ethan didn't know was this: his father had been secretly watching everything, every delivery, every struggle, every decision. Victor wasn't testing Ethan's business skills. He was testing his character, because Victor believed one thing: a man who understands pain will never destroy people when he gains power. 6 months later, Victor invited Ethan to his company headquarters. Massive glass towers, luxury offices, executives in suits. The same world Ethan once took for granted. Victor asked one final question: "What did you learn?" Ethan stayed quiet for a moment. Then he answered, "Money doesn't make people strong, struggle does." For the first time in years, Victor smiled proudly. Then he handed Ethan a folder. Inside were legal documents naming Ethan the future CEO of the billion-dollar company. Ethan looked shocked. Victor said calmly, "Now you finally understand the people you will lead." Years later, Ethan became famous for being one of the kindest billionaires in the country. He increased worker salaries, created food programs for struggling families, and every few months, he secretly delivered food again to remind himself who he used to be.